I make it hard to breathe, yeah. Oh yeah, she gon' make it, we gon' take it. I make it hard to breathe, yeah. I'ma have to clear my throat on this one. You feel me? No. I make it hard to breathe. Like men don't evolve and change from what they used to be. Like we supposed to erase trauma from my history. Mentality bruised, victims of PTSD. The stains of what y'all used to do might still haunt me. An ever-present danger to my kin. A common enemy, you were never a stranger, but maybe from within. My melanin is the essence of all men, but yet we treated like peasants in the world we living in. What can I get, an amen? That means we all agree that we've been duped by cavemen. and sacrifice for sitting on thrones as gods, to being caged in, mental enslavement from years of brewing in this strange blend where we don't make our own culture, we just plug in and get told, well, alright then, I express my pain through my mic and my pen, in the fire or in the lion's den. Yeah. Kill me if you won't let me speak my peace. You gon' have to murder me if you won't let my spirit run free. I make it hard to breathe. Yeah. She gon' make it, we gon' take it. I make it hard to breathe. Yeah. We gon' make it. I make it hard to breathe, yeah. They gon' get you, we gon' get it right now. They gon' get whoop, they gon' get whoop, they gon' get whoop.
Keep running, bro. We gotta fight back, man. We can't keep running, they gon' kill us anyway. Fighting to the death. We got to.
We on the grind now. Turn up.
They don't like us, man. We can't turn the cheek no more. It is what it is.
Boots to the ground.
1,200 black people were killed by police in 2015.
By any means necessary.
We all
I'm ready for war, I'm forever rebellious. And my heart full of anger. Them shackles up off my wrists and my ankles. I'm roaming with one in the chamber. Had my hands up in that cowboy cafe and said I couldn't breathe and I wasn't restraining. Ran away from them, that pit started dumping. Now when ain't nothing to do but get gangster, won't protest the picket. This shit so sickening. Now these folks killing our women and children. I know my niggas be wildin' and tripping, but now we done witness who really against us. The one with the power to position us in these fucked up conditions. I ain't no Christian, ain't good with forgiving. Ain't turning my cheek, now I'm raising that pistol. Lord, forgive me.
with all my breath, with all my strength, with all my pain, I'm fighting this war. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. No turning back, 'cause I'm free.
Hey, spread the word to my people. Spirit fell on me, told me fight against the evil, not turn. Not turn, yeah. Fuck the sticks now, nigga, give me burners. Hold up, hey, spread the word to my people. Spirit fell on me, told me fight against the evil, not turn. Not turn. We in the streets, now we all got burners. Hold up. I'm hearing voices in my head say I need to be free. Is you blind, my nigga, 'cause it's war in these streets. Every word persecution, you against the police. Shackled and chained up and down, niggas still in these streets. Turned up, yeah. Everybody wanna be a nigga, hey, but don't nobody wanna be a nigga. Nah. We keep on begging, what the fuck you think they finna give us? Black lives don't matter, boy, you still a nigga. Still treat me like a criminal. I bust back, fade to black, you don't hear me though. I don't fear it, if I give in, I gain. Washed in the blood, so I live for the game. Truth made me free, so I bang in his name. AR-15 letting my freedom reign. Insane, to repeat once again. 400 years, yeah, we deep in this thing. Endgame.
Get out my way and save my baby!
still crying on TV. These young brothers still dying on TV. Crackers on the camera still lying on TV. 3% rappers might put it on the CD. And our leaders, most of them speechless. How you gon' preach when you ain't trying to reach us? I'm Denmark busy, but watching my own. But some of our people might help them defeat us. Watch out for leeches, snakes in the grass, I done peeped them. That glare in your eye, I can see it. Heart full of hate and the mind full of secrets. Don't need to be around me, you niggas deceitful. I'm sorry, but Lord, I done got tired of praying. My patience too thin to be peaceful. It's eye for an eye, two for a two. 400 years, bitch, it's time to get even.
Hand me that Vega, dog. Finna twist it up. My daddy always told me to look before I leap and think before I speak, and watch out for the company I keep. And always pack a heat when I'm out in the streets, and keep an eye out for the crooked police. I'ma let you see the world through my eyes. I'ma let you see. Expose all the lies. Lie. Born in the belly of the beast. Prison of Babylon, refugee from the east. These mean streets. Seems like the world just got beef with a nigga. Whole system designed to slay. He had a nigga, yeah. I used to think that's how the game go. And it ain't gon' change, so I'm like, fuck it, I just sell dough. And find a bad chick to bang. Hit the club and make it rain. Find a flash whip and sit it on some things. Wrong understanding. Never commanded that my spirit be fed. What if I told you everything you thought was true was planted in your head by this wicked ass system? Frontline by politicians who will never expose their true intentions. Low population. 9/11 was a fake. Masonic order staring niggas right in the face. We got fluoride in our water, chemtrails in the sky. Adam White's hot law fires. I'ma let you see it. Yeah, the world through my eyes. Yeah, I'ma let you see it. Yeah, expose all the lies. My daddy always told me, look before I leap and think before I speak, and watch out for the company I keep. And always pack a heat when I'm out in the streets, and keep an eye out for the crooked police. Yeah, my spirit vexed with these priests, rapping in wolves as they pretend to be sheep. Hope your pockets deep. For a small fee, you can get saved by a nigga. Whole system devised to get the tithes out of nigga. Yeah, I used to think that's how the game go, and it ain't gon' change, and I just couldn't get the Holy Ghost. In the pews, I felt
Oh, my microphone wasn't on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Good.
Can you hear me now? Good. Welcome to Dirty Laundry, the podcast, y'all, where we unpack the hard truths and heavy baggage that affect the Black community. These are the topics that are too taboo for other cultures to touch, but too uncomfortable for us to take full accountability for. But not here. So grab a seat, brace yourself, and go ahead and get ready because we about to air it out. This is Dirty Laundry, y'all Black Therapy. Give yourselves a round of applause for being in the building tonight. In the name of Jesus. Boy, hey, listen. Hey, without further ado, I'd like to enter my reoccurring guest and household name in this industry that we have called podcasting, Miss Bay Windows. Y'all give a round of applause for Miss Bay Windows in the building tonight. She is the host of Miss Bay Windows. Manal.
Yes.
I love you. You are
and
awesome.
I
just want to tell you, you are truly awesome.
Thank you.
Listen. Tonight, I'm going to be real with y'all. We're going to ruffle some feathers. It just is what it is. We're going to ruffle some feathers. And some people is really not going to like what we got to talk about tonight. Tonight, we got like facts, though. We got somebody that works in the industry of paternity. Paternity, y'all. Think about it. It was the 3rd of September.
It's a whole field.
That day I'll always remember. Yes, I will. Hey, what they say? What Kanye say? Manal? 18 years. 18 years. And on the 18th birthday, found out it wasn't his. Whew. Lord have mercy. What's your take on that? I'm saying, like, think about it. Think about what I'm saying, though. Somebody, okay, I know this is not me reaching, right? Like, it's plenty of people out here that found out that they daddy wasn't they daddy when they got old enough to ask questions.
Oh, for sure. I know some personally.
I'm just saying, like, your mama been holding on to this lie for 20 years. That Mr. Willie Earl is your daddy.
On the corner.
And it's Mr. Charlie. Don't blame Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie is just a man. And I'm saying, though, think about that. How would you feel? Like, how would you feel if you found out that Paul, not Paul?
Man, I think for me, I would want to find out the why, especially being older. I would want to find out the why because people do all kind of things in their youth. I know I did things in my youth, so I'm going to figure out the why first. That's going to gauge how mad I need to be at this situation. But I think I would be upset if I bonded and connected with someone or if I missed out on the opportunity to bond and connect with somebody just because my mama decided that she wanted to keep the information tight to the chest for whatever reason. I'd be upset.
Sure. I'm telling you. Listen, it's a lot of people out there that's calling somebody their daddy that is not their daddy. Yeah. I'm just gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. Let's not act like we don't know that it's mama baby, daddy maybe, which is the topic of our discussion tonight. Mama baby, daddy maybe. And guess what? We just want to know who your pa.
I feel like we should have a tagline though, like who should tell them? Like that's the tag.
No, build up to the shit. You know what I'm saying? Build up to it like, and now.
Woo.
It's your ass, dog. You the daddy.
That's what needs to be playing on paternity court. Right before she revealed the
I promise you, it should be like a drum roll.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what's crazy? I've had friends or people that's in close proximity to me wind up on paternity court.
Really? What episode?
Yes,
I want to watch.
yes,
I
yes.
ain't gonna lie.
I got unfriended. Listen, I got unfriended. Somebody unfriended me over me saying, okay, you had a baby by somebody and you let somebody believe that they was the daddy for a long time, and then you got on TV and then was acting like, oh, you was 100% sure that the daddy was the daddy, and then you let that envelope come out, and it said that the person that you've been going hard on had child support on, and was telling everybody he wasn't shit.
Ooh.
You mean to tell me that you just not finding out that he not the daddy?
Kevin, you was supposed to give her a handkerchief and pat her on her back. You wasn't supposed to say nothing.
I ain't giving.
Say too much.
I'm
Kev.
not giving her nothing. I'm not giving her nothing. I'm not giving her nothing. I don't have anything for her because check this out. The long-term effects, listen, the long-term effects of this is that the children are damaged. The children become damaged based off this decision.
So are the parents. Like, how many fathers are missing out on healthy relationships with children simply because mom is not giving the information, grandmama's not giving the information, aunts, uncles sitting around, they know what really happened, and nobody's telling the child.
Ain't nobody telling the story.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. It's a lot of men out here that be like, that baby don't look shit like me. The baby don't look a goddamn thing. I know plenty dudes out here like, hey, you remember when Cat Williams was like, that baby got a good credit score right now. That is a Caucasian baby. I swear to God. Like, listen, man, this is a serious thing that affects the Black community in droves. And of course, y'all know this is Dirty Laundry. We air out tough issues in the Black community and issues that other cultures can't hold us accountable for, but we can hold ourselves for it. We can hold ourselves accountable for it, right? So I will be hurt. But listen, I'm just gonna jump right in there. We're gonna bring the guest in. We're gonna bring our guest in, and tonight we have somebody that is in the field, that does the work, that all the stories come into his building and come into his clinic, and he hears all of the horror stories. Like, you'll be surprised somebody need a kidney. You wind up needing a kidney or something like that, and then you try to, Daddy, I need you. You know what I'm saying? Your daddy like, I need a kidney, son. And then you find out that is wild.
Shout out to Tyler Perry's divorce, because that's absolutely the story behind.
So, I'm saying to you, this is a wild. It's a lot of. I'm not his name. He paid child support on his son for 18 years and found out that the child was not his.
Man, it happens.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
It happens so often. But then, like, what happens? What happens to the money? Like, do the women have to pay it back? Probably not ever.
No.
Like, not legally, they don't have to.
No.
Morally, do you feel like they ever like turn it back around and be like, my bad, I'm sorry, here's at least $20,000 because you paid into this child that wasn't yours? Like, where's the morality in this situation?
Listen, the system does not hold women accountable for situations like those. And like, once we get to talking about my body, my choice. Now, listen, I believe in my body, my choice. I believe that women should be able to say and dictate what goes on with their bodies. But by default, that makes them responsible for moral decay, societal, right? And the reason why I say that is because you have the choice whether you want to bring this child into the world or not. Illegitimate, legitimate, whatever, father, no father, the woman has the choice whether she wants to abort or keep the child, correct?
Correct.
It's her choice, right?
Correct.
So in the Black community, we have between a 64% and 72% single parent household percentage. What is that saying? And how many of these kids are running around calling somebody their daddy that ain't they damn daddy. Tonight you gonna hear it. You gonna hear it tonight. You gonna hear it tonight. So without further ado, I want to bring my guest into the room. This is a real good friend of mine. I've been knowing this brother for 20 years, you know what I'm saying? And when he hit me with the, hey man, I got a paternity clinic and stuff like that, I was like, tell me about the stories you've heard. Tell me about what the fuck I want to know. Because you want to know, you want to hear the real stories. You want to hear the real truths about what the hell is going on in these paternity clinics. And we get to ask them tonight. So don't try to listen. Don't try to just get your shit together. Come, y'all get in here. Come on. Get in the building. Get in the building and get ready. Unpack y'all shit because we about to air it out. Without further ado, let me let my partner in, Eric Potts. Let me let you in here, man. Let me let you in. Eric, you there? Eric, are you there? Let's see if we can get him in the building. In the building, we got my dog. Eric Potts is in the building, y'all. Hey, you know how we do it. When somebody get in the building and we like them, we give them a round of applause. Applause for the cause. Clap it up for Eric Potts tonight, y'all. Eric Potts. If I said, hey, what if I introduce you like this, bro? What if I introduce you like this, Eric? And now, tonight, talking about these ratchet ass women who have children and put them on the wrong man, Eric Potts. What's up, Eric, man? How you doing, man? Good to see you tonight. I can't hear you, man. Turn your sound on, man. I can't hear you. Turn your sound on, brother. I can't hear you, Eric. Let me see. You ain't muted, brother. I can't hear you, brother. We'll wait for him to get the sound on. So look, have your questions ready, Manal.
Oh, I'm ready. I want to know about that
shit together because I want to know.
You know how.
Listen, hold on for a second. I got you. Hold on, let me let him in. Hold on. Here we go. Let me see if I can pull him in. Mic check. Say something, Eric.
He's muted.
I don't have him muted. He got himself muted. I don't know why he turned this mute on.
He likes mute.
He likes mute. Hey, we're gonna wait for him to get in here. I'm saying, like, listen. As soon as he get in here, it's okay, brother. Take your time. As soon as he get in here, I got some for your ass. Y'all need to know the percentage of people that y'all are putting kids on men, and you know them not them damn kids' fathers. This is some bullshit. Y'all know that. Tell the truth. You got some homegirls that been through it too, for real. You got some homegirls that did it.
You know, I don't know necessarily about homegirls, but definitely like some aunts. You know. That it's definitely happened with the older generation, for sure. I think that was the norm. Like I'm gonna choose the daddy. It's whoever I like this week is gonna be the father. I feel like that's what's happening all the time. Or when you step outside your relationship and you end up getting pregnant by somebody, and you come back in, you be like, "Oops, I really do want to build life with you. I don't want to leave you, but this baby popped up and it's now going to be yours." I feel like that happened all the time with the other generation.
I'm just saying. So that shines a light because, like, I got some situations in my own life where I was like, "Hey, mama, how you? And why did you? And who did? And you? And why is my sister? You know what I'm saying, Eric? You in here, man? I can't hear you, man. I don't know what you did. That brother's in a new time. This week on the Twilight Zone with Eric Potts, he'll be." We'll give him a second to figure it out, y'all. We're gonna bring him back in a minute. We're gonna bring him back in, and then we'll see if we can get him to do his thing. Hey,
I want to know like what happens in the back office though, like that. You know, anytime you work a job, the office chatter is real. So if I was working at like a paternity center, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be one of the people that's betting, like watching the people come in bringing their kids or bringing, you know, the dad coming in and saying, you know, do y'all think that's the father? Now we just start betting on shit. I feel like I would be. It. Come on, you gotta bring some fun to your job. You have to.
This is
That's
ridiculous.
a
Let's see if we can
real.
pull Eric back in. Eric, are you ready? Eric, are you ready? Let's see if we can get him back in here.
You telling me
Let's
you
see.
wouldn't be betting?
No, I wouldn't be. Eric, you there, man? You got. Hello, I miss you. You never miss a good friend. Eric, get back here, dog. Man, I need you in here, man. You need to tell me about what's going on, dog. Can I hear you? Say something. Let me see if I can pull you in. Your sound is messing around, brother. We're gonna pull you back in a minute, brother. We gotta hide you again. Listen, so
You wouldn't be taking like an office pool. You wouldn't be participating.
I would. I actually would. I'd be the highest bettingest motherfucker in the office. I swear to God. Listen. Everybody would be. I bet you that's it. I'm telling you, this is a problem. This is a huge problem, and I can't wait till he gets in here so I can hear him speak his piece.
Well, so like, do you feel like there's ever a good reason to withhold the paternity of the child?
No,
Never,
never,
never.
no,
You can't think of one good reason why you should not tell a child who their father is.
no, no.
I can think of at least three.
What do you mean?
I have three reasons. One, if that child was brought into this world through any type of abusive situation.
Let me.
If that
Now,
child was brought into the world and they were a, result of a rape situation, that child doesn't need to know that until they're older. If
right.
that child was brought into this world and maybe mom and dad was on some Bonnie and Clyde type shit, and mom tried to get out after she realized she was pregnant.
Man,
Yo,
look.
yo, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, we got him in the building. We got him. It's a go. All right, y'all. Listen, we was having a little problem with the audio, but y'all know what this is. This is organic. Real way. Without further ado, y'all, my guest and a real good friend of mine, Eric Potts. Eric Potts, y'all give Eric Potts a round of applause, y'all. Eric Potts is in the building. Eric Potts is in the building. We finally. Oh shit! Woo. No,
Yo, what's up?
Eric Potts, y'all give Eric Potts a round of applause.
Yeah.
We got Eric in the building. So Eric, Manal just asked me a question about: is there ever a time where the mom shouldn't tell the dad that he's the father? But first, before we get into that question, right? Is there ever a time where the mother shouldn't tell the father that he the daddy?
Well, it should never be a time that the mother shouldn't tell the father what the truth is. But I will tell you this: there's a few times and a few instances where I've had the mother like really just hold back from the truth to protect herself and not necessarily the kid, but protect herself from some wrongdoings.
Hold on. Tell him, hey brother, listen, tell them what you do, because the title of the show is Mama Baby, Daddy Maybe. Can you tell them who you are and what you do, brother? Introduce yourself, Mr. Eric Potts.
So I am St. Louis local legend for DNA paternity testing in the St. Louis area. I started back in 2003. And I got my start just trying to change the community, but it actually went into something deeper than that. You guys might know me in the community from the D. Lee Morning Show that used to come on 100.3 The Beat, Paternity Test Tuesday. So we were doing DNA testing over the radio. And we were getting it in, back then. But, since then, it's been something that it's my lifelong passion and my life mission to help try to change the trajectory of our community and how we move. But getting back to your question, yeah, you know, women aren't as, and I'm not a womanizer. I'm not that dude or whatever. But you know, I see the truth. I see everything for what it is. You know, it's not about me having my biased opinion. I see the raw and uncut. You know, I see some others come in and say,
so basically, so what you're saying is, this is not speculation. This is something that you. This is something that you see on an everyday basis doing your line of business.
This be the truth. So the thing is this be the truth. So, you know, my thing is this: I always have to protect my clients at all costs. So I can't give names or anything like that, but I can always talk about, you know, occurrences and what I see, you know, for as long as I protect the innocent by not putting their names out there in specific situations. You know, I can protect them the best way I can, and that's really what I look out for. You know, is protecting their identities. But, you know, I've worked with athletes, entertainers. I've worked with, you know, different people in the community, some well-known individuals in the community, you know, both male and both female. But I will tell you, to answer your question, there are a lot of females that want a particular person to be the father of a child.
Can you, brother, can you, man, listen.
I forgot who I'm talking. It's Kevin. You want me to elaborate, right?
That's right, brother. That's right.
You want some elaboration and collaboration, right?
Yeah, but listen. You don't have to say names, but you do have to. I want you to tell, because here is the reason why we have these conversations on Dirty Laundry, right? Here's the serious side of it. We have a lot of issues in the Black community, and it's things that we need to talk about, and it's things that we need to hold each other accountable for. And without these kind of conversations, people won't know. You know what I'm saying? And then you will know. It'll be in small circles. It'll be in barbershops and beauty shops and stuff like that.
So check this out. I got one for you. So this had to be about maybe 16 years ago. Matter of fact, it was longer than that. It was about 19 years ago. I get a call when I was doing a radio show. Guy needed to do the test or whatever. He called me because he was on child support. Right? So he was placed on child support. So he came in, I did the test, did the collection and everything, collected the mother, collected the kid. And come to find out, I get a call from my lab that said, hey, wait a minute, something's wrong. He's related to the baby, but he's not the father. So I said, oh, okay, so now I have to take off paternity cap and put on detective cap and call the mom. Hey, what's the situation? Here's the deal, whatever. The guy that we tested is not the father, but somebody close to him is the father. What's the story? Now, this is where my inner Kevin comes in. So what happened?
So what happened? Because I want to know. I want to know. That's what I'm saying. What happened?
So this is what happened. Both brothers played poker. They were like avid gamblers. One brother beat the other brother, and he owed him some money. Well, the brother never paid up, so the other brother went to go collect the money. Knocked on the door, brother wasn't there, but the girlfriend was there. Hey, look, I'm here to collect, the TV, and I'm on my way. Well, they start messing around. Brother didn't know it. So come to find out, baby comes.
Cheating in the next room.
You ain't about to get this TV, but you can get
I'm telling you, making plans to be with him soon. While he's talking on the telephone, I'm telling you, I wish you didn't trust me so much. I'm telling y'all think, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, I hear that she was protecting the man. That's what I heard.
That's pretty much what she was doing, but something came from, so the thing was this, my job is to give yes or no, whether he's a father or not. And he wasn't the father. So he was actually able to get off of child support with the evidence that was presented. But at the same time, I told her, you have a responsibility to him because it's not on me.
Yeah.
It's not on me.
You got a responsibility. Yeah. You hear that, ladies? Only you can prevent forest fires.
Yeah, so she had to come to it. I left that in her part for her to do that, because the dude wanted to have a relationship. He still wanted to be in the kid's life, even though he wasn't the father. He still wanted to be around the kid and all of that stuff. And I'm like, it's up to you because your conscience is going to get you. And you're going to have to come clean and say, hey, look, this is your nephew, not your son.
Hey, that says a lot about men.
Good man.
That's a good man. And you hear these kind of stories all the time. So don't try to make like, hey, I don't want to flambe women because I'm not into the gender war. I don't do the gender war, but like, brother, tell the truth. You see the horror stories all the time, don't you? They come in all the time, bro.
I'm gonna tell you some of the beauty behind it though is this. A lot of the guys that we test that's not the father, I would say 80% of the guys that I test that's found not to be the father, 80% of them generally still stay in the kid's life. Because they bonded with them for the most part. You know, they've had some kind of relationship.
Can you say that number again? Can you say that number again? I don't think people heard that, bro. Hold on for a second.
It's roughly 80%. It's roughly 80% of the men that I test that are found not to be the father generally stays in the child's life and has some kind of relationship, positive relationship with the child. But check this out though. National statistics says this. National statistics says 30% of all men tested were found not to be the father. So it's 70% of the guys that are actually not the father. No, I'm sorry, 70% of the guys are actually the father, but it's 30% out of the entire population. 30%, that's still a lot of people.
What?
Yeah, that is a lot of people. But here's the thing. And I don't feel like old girl was protecting old dude. She was definitely capitalizing on the situation.
I'm glad you cleaned that up.
But we try to trick ourselves into a lot of different things in order to, support our choices and our habits. So probably justified that some sort of way. But this idea of a good man, I feel is something that we need to address, because just because you decided to stay in the child's life, that doesn't make you a good man. And just because you decided to walk away, that does not make you a bad man. And I feel like if we continue to categorize people in that way, we guilt and we shame people into making a choice that is really detrimental to themselves. And so I feel like, men just need to hear, like, you have the freedom to make a choice.
Oh yeah, and definitely I tell them,
I say, look, make a choice.
Yeah, if you make the decision to stay in this kid's life after you've got the results and it's found that you're not the father, if you choose to stay there, that's your responsibility. That's something that you signed up for. That's your personal obligation to this child, because you said, hey, look, I got to be a man of my word and I'm going to be here for this child. When you have
here's a little pushback. He's not a good dad if he stays. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is if we label that choice good and we label the walking away bad.
I'm getting some echo. Hold on for a second. I'm getting some echo. Is somebody watching? Put a little echo, y'all. Little echo. All right, go ahead.
If we label the choice to stay in the child's life after learning that they have been lied to or tricked into parenting this child, if we label that choice good and we label the choice to walk away once they find out the truth bad, then in a lot of ways we're cornering men to stick around even if internally they don't want to. Because I could imagine that a lot of men parenting children that weren't theirs, sticking around, like there's still some resentment there, there's some hurt there, there's some frustration there, right? It could be a whole embodiment of emotions and even thoughts, maybe even some desires that they have. Maybe there were some goals that they didn't, try to reach simply because they were there taking care of this child. And so I feel like we should not label one choice good and one choice bad. We should just say, do what you feel. Once you find out the truth, you should do what feels right for you. And I know that may hurt some people. It may frustrate some moms. It may hurt even some children. But at the end of the day, that child needs to go back to that mother and get some questions answered, not that man, no matter what he chooses.
Now they're gonna call you a pick-me.
Please call me. Let's talk. I don't have a counseling license, but I'll take the donation.
Hey, Eric, they're gonna call her a pick-me because of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You know that, right? Because anytime we want to, and like I said, I'm going to reiterate the fact that this show is designed for accountability, and it's not gender-based either. We are equal opportunity assholes over here. I know I am. You know what I'm saying? I am the equal opportunity asshole. And don't think that I won't expose my own dirty laundry on here, because it's about accountability, it's about awareness, it's about the conversation, and it's about the solution, right? So I appreciate you being able to speak that truth from your standpoint, that as a woman, and say, hey, listen, ladies, we need to do better. Is that right? Do women need to do better with this? Because like before you got on the show, I told her, I was like, I got a friend who raised a young man his whole entire life. And when that child turned 18 years old, the father found out that that it wasn't his son. He was devastated and sad. Huh?
So that wasn't Kanye West, was it?
Hey, listen, 18 years, and on the 18th birthday, found out it wasn't his. Now, I ain't saying she a gold digger, but you know the rest.
But so that and with that even being said, that brought me to another case that I did. Young lady came to me and said, hey, look, I got a guy that came to me that said he's my father. And she never met the guy. Mm-hmm. But she remembered the guy. She remembered the guy that she knew to be her father as this tough guy. You know, he would walk around with the wife beater or the undershirt. He would walk around with those on Timberlands and stuff like that, just walking around like he's the G. You know, and he was tough guy. So this other guy came and was like, check this out, because the guy passed away, and he was like, hey, I'm your father. And she's like, whoa, what's going on here? So the guy laid the story out. This guy was like the bookworm in school. Like they were, you know, like him and his mom were like high school sweethearts. And he was the nerd, per se. He was the one that was super smart, you know. He didn't have a lot of girls or anything like that, but he was cool. Yeah. Well, come to find out, mom got pregnant, and I guess she was messing around with Tyrone too. So Tyrone was the one that said, hey, look, I'm going to be in your life and I'm being with you and this, that, and the other. And he brutally beat this guy to the point where he was in the hospital. He said, look, if you ever come back around, you think you got it bad now, you might not live to see the next time that this stuff happens. So the guy was so afraid because he was brutally beaten. That's what I'm saying, man. He didn't come back. He never came back. So when he found out the dude was gone, he was like, look, I got to find my baby. I got to find my girl. So we did the test, and it came back that he was the young lady's biological father. You know, so after 30 some odd years, he's been separated from her because he remembered the beating that he got from this guy from coming around. You know, so this is something. This is definitely something.
Sure, he got a beating.
Oh no, he got.
What has happened?
He got the beating.
I need a police report. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he got it. He got it.
Hey, man.
Hey, when somebody comes in and shows you scars and stuff from stitches, you know, and certain stuff, you know exactly where you got those things from.
Man, do you ever feel like you are a therapist?
Yeah, I'm a therapist, and from time to time, I need a therapist to be the therapist. You know, for me, it's a blessing for me to wake up every day and know that I'm a life changer. You know, I can honestly say that I'm a life changer. I change the trajectory of so many. You just don't know how many people I deal with that say, hey, I want to commit suicide. Or I need to know what's going on before I abort this baby. You know, there's more women that come to me now and say, hey, look, I'm on the brink of making the decision whether to abort this child, you know, based off of who the father's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I'm in a position where my responsibility for what I do is very great, you know.
But that, don't you think? Listen. So don't you think that's kind of what we're talking about right now? A woman can go, she can come to you and say, listen, I'm thinking about getting rid of this baby based upon who the father is. That's not even like I want to keep the baby because I made the choice to lay down with both men, or I don't think that this is a good choice for me or the baby. I don't want to have a baby by this father. Well, where was the preventative maintenance before this happened? Where was the I shouldn't be like what you one drink too many? What you slipped and fell on it? I don't like like I
Yeah,
mean,
but
what
I
is
also
it? Like
think
what do you
some of
think?
that is
What do you
sex education comes into that too, though. Sex education is a part of that.
say it
Uh,
one more time?
sex
Say what you
education.
said again. Sex education comes into the picture.
Sex education is also a big element to what needs to increase in order to start to decrease these issues. I
Right.
when we're talking about, because I work with teen parents, I work with young moms, and a lot of them are the ones who are, correct me if I'm wrong, most of these individuals that are having children right now are between 17 and 27.
And take it back. I'm
Is that true, bro?
seeing them as young as 14 years old. I had a case not even 3 months ago. You know, they weren't even old enough to drive yet, and they got a baby. But when you talk about sex ed, we start talking about, hey, look, I gotta sit young men in here and say, oh man, I didn't stick it in her or anything like that. But I have to say, okay, look, well, check this out. Was y'all naked or close to naked? Was you wet? And I'm talking to the dude, were you wet in that area? And he was like, yeah, well, congratulations, you could be the father because pre-ejaculation fluid. You know, they're not paying enough attention in the classrooms or even when they're being instructed about sexual education to know that they are fertile at that particular point of time, or that they're capable of producing children at that particular point in time. And what it takes to create a child is not necessarily that you have to insert yourself. It can just be the
Right.
environment that you're in.
So
You
whose
know, so
responsibility is it really to teach sex education?
everything starts at home. It starts at home. I don't think it's not the school, with them giving you the permission slip to sign and all of that stuff. No, everything comes from home. Respect, responsibility, learning about who you are as an individual. A lot of this childhood trauma, that we are obtaining, a lot of it just simply comes from some of the choices and decisions that we make. As children, we make a decision whether we want to learn lessons or not. But even as parents, we have to make a decision whether we want to teach these lessons or not. And sometimes we so screwed up in our heads and what we have or what we were lacking that we're not even in a mode to even teach. But that's important. When we bring a child into this world or a child into this community or this society, it's our responsibility to teach them right from wrong and teach them what the rules and their engagement is in this community. You got to teach yourself how to love yourself, because if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love someone else? If you can't respect yourself and you can't respect your parents at home, how do you expect to go to school and respect the teacher?
Yeah.
Or respect any kind of authoritarian figures out in the community? If this is not taught at home, sexual education, how to respect your wife, how to respect your mother, how to respect your father. If those things weren't taught at home, just like even with women. All right, let's talk about you, Kevin, you were talking about earlier. I got a young lady a few years ago. She said, oh, I just messed around and had a baby because I was having a hot girl summer. Well, her mother didn't teach her about hot girl summer because that wasn't a thing back then.
No.
Megan Thee Stallion, these different women, young Cardi B.
But check this out. But we did have a Freaknik.
We have Freaknik.
And we did have Uncle Luke. And we did have
Right.
Trina and Trick Daddy. But like I tell people all the time, just because we did have those things go on in our culture at that time doesn't mean that our parents approved of it.
Nope.
See, that's the thing.
Nope.
Everybody want to rubber pad. Everybody want to rubber stamp everything. Listen, some things we need to hold ourselves accountable for. Are we going to reclaim the narratives and change what is associated with Blackness, what's associated with our culture? So just because those things did exist pre, we can't say names. I don't want to say names, but coochie pink, booty hole brown. You know what I'm saying? Or where do we draw the line? Where is the line drawn? Because the number that you said is that 80% of the men who come to your clinic find out that they're not the fathers of the children. That says a lot. That is not something to be taken lightly. Wouldn't you agree, Manal?
Oh, for sure. And I mean, and just full transparency, and again, sex education, growing up in a religious environment, we didn't have these open conversations. We did not have these in-depth conversations. So as a young woman going out into the world and becoming sexually active, I know I was nowhere near prepared. And so I didn't even know that I was pregnant until, right? And so for me, I was pregnant, relationship ended, I moved on. I started messing with someone else. And by the time I realized I was pregnant, I was hoping that the other dude was
Man,
not the dad. So I did have to go through a paternity process. And I paid hundreds of dollars and was praying that guy number two was the father because I did not want to have to go back to guy number one. And so guy number two was not the father, no surprise. And then I had to go through another paternity process so that way I could hold the other father accountable. And so, I had the experience. And so I'm not speaking from a person who doesn't know. I'm speaking from a person on the one end who did not have the education going out into the world, becoming sexually active. And I'm speaking as the one who had to be accountable to my child and tell him who his father was and find out who his father was and put money out there and action and then have to be accountable for that. And so um, I feel like having these open conversations, it really helps everybody become more free, but it also helps us to tailor our practices to practices that are going to be more conducive to our goals as a collective, which hopefully we are all in the same boat of wanting to be healthy as a black community. And that also that's how we protect ourselves, but it's also how we protect the legacy, meaning our children are attached to some healthy individual and we know who they are and they know who they are. And it doesn't always have to be a nuclear family. It's a goal, it's a goal to be in one household, but there's something to be said when that child knows where they come from and they can have access to mom, they can have access to dad, and they can develop their whole selves. There's power in that.
so you're not saying you're not, and thank you for that. You're not saying that we shouldn't have the nuclear black family. You're just saying that there are alternatives to it, and that's a very slippery slope. That's very dangerous, right? Because we are the ones most destabilized in terms of marriage. Black women are statistically not married right now. They are not in. They're not in what we consider unions of marriage. That is a problem. Black men are not getting married. Do we offer alternatives knowing that we don't have families in place? What you
Well,
think, Eric?
yeah,
Yeah, and I just heard like I got a statistic yesterday. It was saying that at least I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 70, like 78%. Like the divorce rate is on the rise right now. Especially in the black families
Oh
right now.
man,
And they said a majority of the divorces are initiated by the mothers or by the women or by the wives now. And I want to say that statistic was somewhere about 78%, and it's on the rise. But, you know, there's a lot to be said. And we were also talking about the responsibility and the things, the outcomes from not knowing. There's a ton of young grown men that come in that are hurting right now, that can't function in society right now because they feel like orphans. They don't know who their father is. They don't know where they came from. From health perspectives, I heard, or I think I have heart conditions or I have some genetic issues that are going on. They don't really have a good, perfect assessment of their actual health because they don't know where they come from. Some people can have a drip, just like if this was an alcoholic beverage right here and that was my first time drinking. Well, how was I supposed to know that my father that came before me that I never knew comes from a family of alcoholics and this one sip that I take will send me into a spiral? I don't know that. So one of my things that I did, I spoke years ago. I spoke at a conference, and it was we lose Kevin.
he's gonna pop back on. I think it was frozen.
Oh, okay.
You got a
So
conference?
yeah, so I was at a conference and it was like a group of social workers there, and I painted a picture for them, and I said, okay, us as men, our job is to be a provider for the family and a protector of the family. So as a protector and a provider of your family, you know, you go out, you get food, you bring money to the household, you protect them from, foreign and domestic people coming into the household or whatnot. But at the end of the day, you have one girl that you know that's yours, one daughter that's yours biologically, that's your daughter, that you know of.
Mm-hmm.
And just say you stepped out or you guys broke up at one point in time, you and the wife or you and the lady broke up at one point in time, and then you came back, but she was pregnant with another young lady, right? Another daughter. But he doesn't know that this is actually his biological daughter. So he still goes out every day and provides, brings home, and takes care of her, makes sure she's clothed, she's fed, and taken care of. Well, he knows that daughter one was his actual daughter, but daughter two, he's like, nah, this ain't my kid. This ain't my kid. I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So the picture that I painted was, in order for that daughter to live in the house with him, she had to pay to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant that she owed him something for him providing for her.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said that, at least 7 to 8 social workers that were women got up and ran out of the room in tears because this was their story.
Yeah.
You know, when you know where you come from and you know what you got behind you or who you know where you came from, that level of care is there.
Yes.
You know, because I mean, it takes a very sick individual first off to do that, but to do that to your own child, they want, you know, it really takes that. But knowing paternity and where you come from can protect you from a lot of different things. You know, it curbs domestic violence within the household. It's proven.
Mm-hmm.
It helps prevent sexual abuse in the household. And it gives the kid a chance to know where they came from a healthy perspective and a health perspective. You know, we don't know, there's a lot of families that are suffering from schizophrenia and mental health issues. You know, and if you don't know your family lineage and where you come from, you can't really track those things because there's people out here from childhood that need the help and need the care, but if they don't know where they come from, they don't know what to get tested for.
Yeah.
You know, so those things are very important in our community. You know, we see, you know, kids that are going around getting hurt by the police. You know, they're not getting the proper education in school, you know, because they don't have the proper testing in place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so these things are very important. We got to know where we come from. You know, even
very important that we know.
Yeah, me being Mr. DNA, I can only go as far as back as my great grandparents, and that's it. You know, so I still feel like an orphan because I can't go past my great grandparents, but I feel sorry for the person that can't even, you know, I deal with murder victims. You know, I deal with people that, hey, my father was murdered, you know, right after I was born. You know, I've never got a chance to meet my father. I don't even know what my father's favorite food is. I don't know what he looks like. I've never seen him before. I have no recollection of him.
Mm.
What does that do for a person's psyche? What does that do for their mind if they never met their father before?
Yeah.
You know, I knew my father. I didn't have the best relationship with him, but at least I touched him before.
Yeah.
You know, I stuck my finger in his ear before. You know, it's just like he was tangible at one point, but just to never see him, never know him. I mean, that's one of those things. And then there's a lot of guys out here that just don't care, you know. But I think the tables are turning now because I see more men now fighting for the right to know whether they're the father of a child. Now, the tables are definitely turning. You know, I know back in 2000, I think it was 2006 or 2007, they passed a bill in the state of Missouri that gave guys the right to challenge child support. You know, and that was a very big and bold move for the state, but it helped. But the guys started coming out of the woodworks, not only to free themselves from a financial burden, but they wanted to know the truth because a lot of the guys had letters sent to a house that they never lived at and resided at. They were never properly served papers to come to court, and they never knew to show up at court at this particular time and date, and they were being made the father by default from an administrative order, an administrative standpoint, which, you know, jacked up a lot of their lives. Some of them served jail time. Some of them had to work without, some of them couldn't even get a job. And some of them worked, you know, with little bit of money coming in, just off of child support, you know, and they weren't the fathers, you know. So the tables are turning now. You have more men now that are calling, wanting to get testing done. And now they're being blocked by the mother because the mother doesn't want to get the test done.
Mm. And
The
it's
ugly truth has to be exposed, and they don't want to be the ones exposing the truth. They don't want the truth known.
so interesting though too, because now sitting as a woman often sees men evade the responsibility. I often see men evade that responsibility. Um, it's interesting now to see the tables turn where men are saying, "No, I really do want to know." And some of them, yes, I feel because they absolutely do want to take care of the child, right, and be the father that they desire to be. But I think there are others that are just like, "Nah, I was with her for a night, or I really wasn't committed like that, and I really don't want to be connected." But either way, finding out the truth is still important, right? Um, but one of the things that I do think is important, because I'm a mother raising a black son, right? And so I have to be impartial in the way that I view life, because I have to teach my son to protect himself. And so I can't put my woman emotions on it, because I'm raising a son and I want him to be prepared. And so I would be the mom to advise my son to test all the kids. I don't care what she say out her mouth. Get the
Right.
test. And I would encourage him
Exactly.
to do that, because I know the young man that I'm raising, and I'm raising him in such a way where I know women are going to want to be attached. I know that.
Yeah, a lot of mothers now are pushing for like a lot of so it would be the potential grandmother, which would be the alleged father. We call the guy being tested the alleged father. The alleged father's mothers are generally pushing their sons to get this test done. And some sons are apprehensive. They don't want. Some of them are afraid to know.
Mm,
you know, and a lot of it comes from them not having the experience of seeing their father around, which is part of the cycle that we've been seeing since the 60s, or maybe even longer than that.
Correct.
But this is something
Correct.
where these young men, 16, 17, even up in their 20s, they're just afraid of being a father because they remember on Boys in the Hood, when he was like, when Morris Chestnut was talking to Trey. He was like, "Hey man, what are you afraid of?" He was like, "I'm afraid of being a father." And he just shut Morris Chestnut down. He was like, well, "I can't speak on that because that's me."
mm,
But a lot of
Right.
guys don't know because us as young men, especially if we didn't have a father around, we never really saw what a father did. We never really saw what a husband did in the house. You know, I'm looking at the Cosby Show right now. It's flashing on the TV right now, but those were my ideal role models, of fathers looking at Leave It to Beaver with Ward Cleaver and stuff, because I really didn't know what a father did,
mhm.
So if a young man,
Exactly.
they know how to have sex is natural, but if you say, hey, look, you're a father, you're like, whoa, because you don't know. I can't go to the library and get a book on how to be a father. I don't know. I don't have the owner's manual to being a father, so I don't know what to do. And a lot of it comes from fear. You have a lot of single mothers out here trying to raise young men, and that's a very hard task. Steve Harvey even said, hey, look, with my daughters, I will never try to compete with my wife or even their mother to be, to teach them everything, because I can't teach them everything as a woman,
Right.
as a guy being, a father being a father to women. I can't do that. I can't teach them everything. Just like a mother can't teach a young man how to be a man. You can't do that. And if they never had a father
Mhm.
and they've never seen their mother be a wife to a husband, how is it that you can tell me that I'm not doing a good job as a father and I'm not doing a good job as a husband because you don't know what that looks like either?
Yeah,
So a lot of us
Exactly.
are stuck.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just a cycle. It's just a cycle. You know what I'm saying? So Manal, give us what do you think the solution to this problem is? How can we change this narrative in the black community where there are so many illegitimate children in terms of progeny, in terms of who the father is? How do we combat that? How do we fix this problem? How will we go about changing that narrative?
Yeah. I think the proper steps are better education earlier on. I am a huge proponent of being sex positive with children, teaching them to respect themselves, teaching them to respect one another, um, physically, mentally, emotionally. Encourage intimacy in other ways and really teaching what that is.
Right.
Because we have to encourage individual children to get to know themselves as they become adults. So that way they are making healthier attachments from the beginning. They are preserving their bodies earlier on, and so then when they do decide to have sex, it's with a better understanding. Also, they're having sex with someone that actually is connecting to who they are, who they've learned themselves to actually be. And so I feel like earlier learning is better. Earlier learning is always preventative. And that just goes back to that idea of the nuclear family. It's not that I am opposed to the nuclear family. It's that I'm a child who's a product of a 28-year marriage that ended in divorce. That was my parents, because they started out life early. They got married early. They had children early, and then they learned themselves. And so recognizing that marriage is not a cure, getting to know yourself is. That is a cure. Because when you get to know
Mm.
yourself, you can connect with people better, and then when you do start to procreate, it's with a consciousness and it's with a plan.
Mm.
We don't family plan in the Black community. We family happen.
Yep, we're not
That would
productive.
happen. I mean, a round of applause for that. I mean, for God's sakes.
Yeah, you're right. Instead of being
Man,
proactive, yeah.
it's about being proactive. Hey, 2 minutes. Doc, Eric, 2 minutes. What do you think is the solution to the problem of illegitimate parents? Well, I mean, this epidemic that we have where nobody knows who the father is. How do we stop this? Preventative maintenance? What? Sex education? What? How do we stop this?
All right, the clock is ticking. So I'm gonna piggyback off what Sister said. The biggest thing is, knowing we got to know who we are as individuals first. You know, yeah, true enough, there's a vicious cycle that's been going on that's not going to stop and is gaining more traction. You know, a lot of women are trying to get into the sex war. The men versus women. We got to get away from that. You know,
Man, we
we have
definitely
to
got to
learn.
get away from that.
Yeah, we got to learn who we are as individuals, as parents, because we have to teach our children what's going on and let give them a better picture of what's seen, what they're looking at, because that's how we stop that cycle. We have to get ourselves together as individuals so that they can see, and they can have a better guideline or a better manual on how to be a proper mother and father, husband and wife, so they can see. So you can bring that family structure back, because they don't want to see, husband and wife fighting every day. They don't. They want to see them communicating with each other, loving on one another. Because if you can do that, trust each other and respecting each other, now you're going to trust and respect the children as well.
Yeah.
So we got to work on ourselves. We have to get rid of. You got to get therapy, individual therapy, couples therapy, and family therapy. Because we got to start making more healthier choices and decisions for us as a family.
Yeah.
Two, like other states, the state of Michigan, and I believe Louisiana is the same. Louisiana is more progressive, but mandatory testing for everyone that is not married. Mandatory.
Do you
State
think
of
that mandatory testing? I'm telling
Yeah,
you, I agree with mandatory testing.
Yeah.
Louisiana says that if a father is found to be the father, he automatically gets visitation rights, equal visitation rights to the child, unless he has something that's on him that prevents him from being a healthy part of his child's life.
That's
So more regulation on a state level, and local level, and just people just need to be more open to the truth. I mean, just like I used to say back in the day, if you laid down and made it, you got to take care of it. If you made the decision as a woman to allow this guy to have sex with you, then you should be able to allow him to be responsible for what he did, or at least allow him to know whether this is his child or not, and give him a fair chance to take care of his responsibility.
mm-hmm.
And if he can't take care of his responsibility, then you have to take matters into your own hands and go to the next step.
Yeah.
How many times have I been in the hospital to go do a test inside of the hospital, and the grandmother of the child is in there, which is the mother's mother, saying, hey, look, before we even bring a child seat in here to take the baby home, we're going to go to the child support office.
Oh
We need
yeah.
to correct those things.
Yes.
Allow this God an opportunity to come and be a part of this child's life. Sit down with them and have a conversation. What's your plan, young man, for raising this child?
Yes.
What's your plan for being with my daughter?
Yes.
What's your plan for raising this family? And with those answers, then you do that. But you don't automatically step in as a hurt mother, or a mother from domestic abuse, or a mother from a troubled past, and you continue this perpetuating cycle that, hey, look, we're going to eliminate the father because we can go straight to the child support office right now.
And like the fact that you said that, I feel like this is a whole conversation we need to continue just with that point alone, because the reality is that we don't operate as family units. And so that level of communication and that level of accountability, it actually comes with relationship building, but it also comes out of protection.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And you think you're doing the right thing, and you're not doing the right thing in the name of protecting, and it's just
the proper way to protect your family is to say, hey, I need to sit down with that family. Like the two families need to sit down now at the table. We have a child that's coming into this world. We need to make sure that they're both the parents. We need to make sure that they have a game plan to raise the child in a healthy manner, like other cultures do, like we used to.
And you know what though? And another thing too is, how people say, hey, especially now in this day and age, you have people hurting the hurt.
Mm-hmm.
When you have hurting the hurt, you have the mother that doesn't know that she needs to go ahead and admit that, hey, look, my childhood wasn't the best.
Yes.
So I don't know what I'm doing.
Yes.
I don't want to hurt you as my daughter. I want to give you the best information that I can give you so that you can have a healthy pregnancy, and this baby has a better chance of surviving something that we didn't have a chance to go past.
Yeah.
So we have to be more real with ourselves and be more
that
realistic.
Awareness and that vulnerability.
Yeah, we have to take accountability for saying, hey, look, I didn't have the best, but I want the best for my children and my grandchildren to stop this cycle from occurring.
Yeah.
So it wasn't there, but I'm willing to make it right. I'm willing to make it better, just based off of what was going on. So we have to say, okay, look, I can't give you the best answer of what to do right now, but best thing I can tell you right now is we got to bring God back into the fold. We got to be on top of it. We got to be able to say, hey, look, I want better for you than what I had. And it's okay to say, I can't give you sound advice because I don't have sound advice for you right now.
Yeah.
But if you bring love back into the fold again, and I don't know if I'm hippie, but you got to. You bring love back into there, the kid has a better chance.
Yes.
Instead of trying to teach hate, or teach hurt, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah. And it's one thing too, because, and I love that you're saying this, with my son, I have those conversations with him. I'm very open and honest about my experience into motherhood with him for that very reason. I want to empower him to learn himself, take care of himself, actually have an idea for his life, and recognize that he's bringing someone into that idea, and it's a partnership. And also, sharing with him that as a parent, you want to be in a position where you're free to make choices in regards to your child, right? And so in doing that, that means you have to be responsible as an individual first. And so, we talk about it now. And so if my 14-year-old son, if you ask him where's his mind with girls, he'd be like, I ain't got time for that. I have to get to college. I got to get this money. I need to do these things, and then I could talk about a wife, and then I could talk about a child, and in that order. But it's because I'm honest about my experience.
And in our society, we gotta stop letting media run the dialogue of our lives. All of these, housewives of every every city of America. We gotta stop getting away from that. We gotta stop letting the record companies dictate what a woman should look like, what a woman should be.
Yeah.
Unnatural women, man. It's
just
crazy.
Unrealistic. It's unrealistic.
Because now here it is. Now, if you got women, every woman wants to look like a Barbie figure now.
Or get a BBL.
Yeah. You got all of this stuff going on. So what do we teach the kids? Every kid. Okay, every woman's supposed to have eyelashes now, extra eyelashes. You're supposed to have extra nails. You're supposed to go have extra hair. All of this stuff. And you're supposed to be individuals with individualistic attitudes, character, things like that. We shouldn't be carbon copies.
Yeah.
That's right.
We shouldn't be carbon copies. We should be able to be a functioning society is when you have different people with different views come together and live life and live in harmony with one another.
Yeah.
That's right.
Everybody shouldn't be single mothers. Every woman shouldn't be, oh, I'm independent. I don't need a man for anything. Because we can't function. We will be extinct in the next 30 or 40 years if everybody had that same type of mentality. We have a right to be individual. We have a right to be individual. We have a right to raise our children a certain way. Our children should be able to have a right to go to school and learn right from wrong, or learn right from wrong at home and go to school and be the best, be the astronauts, be the scientists, be the next George Washington Carvers, the next Marcus Garvey. They have a right to do that.
Oh shit, I love that.
I'd rather see another Mary McLeod Bethune than I see another Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro. Hey, so like, how do we fix this, y'all? How do we fix this to the viewers? How do we hold ourselves accountable in our society, in our community, to say enough is enough? How do we turn this thing off? Because I want to say something, right? We always talk about slavery, chattel slavery, but we never talk about the breeding houses. We never talk about when they bred us like cattle. And somewhere in our subconscious, somewhere in our Akashic record, I believe there is memory from when we were treated that way, and we have the tendency to act that way because that was commonplace to us during them times. So one guy would impregnate a whole plantation, and they would sell the children just like they would sell a cow. Something to think about.
I'm a push back on that because they selected the best of the best, and it ain't in everybody's DNA. Okay, some of y'all just out here doing stuff. I'm just
and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we gonna call it a night. Hey, listen, I want to thank both of my guests tonight. Eric Potts, can you tell them where we can find you, where we can get some services? Where can the people find you and get services done in St. Louis?
Well, you can always go to the website, peaceofmindgenetics.com. That's peace like peace and love, PEACEOFMIND genetics.com. We have multiple locations now. We're actually located in Alton, Illinois, and we're also located in Ferguson, Missouri, Ferguson being the main location, 103 South Florissant Road. So, the best way to reach me is calling me at 314-714-5362, 314-714-5362.
Now tell us that website one more time. Peace of Mind
Genetics.com.
Genetics.com. You can find Dr. I will say doctor. I'm gonna call you Doctor. Dr. Eric Potts. You can find him at peaceofmindgenetics.com. Once again, that's peaceofmindgenetics.com.
And you know what? I go as the fraternity coach. That's my thing.
I love
I'm
that.
I'm the fraternity coach. I know the ins and outs and can get you to your goals of fraternity.
U City Red said it's an excellent show and very informative. Thanks, Reds. We really appreciate you watching tonight and viewing the show. Miss Bay Windows, Manal Bay, where can we find you at? Tell us where we can find you at, sister.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook under Miss Bay Windows. And my podcast will be launching this fall, Miss Bay Windows.
Miss Bay Windows, Miss Bay Windows. And of course, it's me, your boy KO. So with that, hey, good night to y'all. Thanks for coming on. Hopefully we have y'all back on the show again. All right. Y'all have a wonderful night. All right. So, you heard it. You've seen it. We talked about it. So he said 80% of the men that come into his place of business are not the fathers of the children. 80%. That's something to think about. While we attempt to hold each other accountable, while the gender war is going on, our children are suffering. So, with that, take your life off spin cycle. Good night.